I suppose it's time we talk about Marjorie Taylor Greene today. I think it's time to go ahead and engage in that little bit of info. So, for those who don't know, this woman's a nut. Okay, I'm gonna poison that well. I've done videos on her before. I do not like this woman. I think she's dangerous. I think she's an asshole. And she supposedly represents my district. I cannot think of anybody who so thoroughly represents Georgia, at least this area in Georgia, but also so vehemently does not represent me. But something interesting happened. So, Marjorie is a transphobe. She's been supporting transphobic bills. She is, again, an asshole. Now, I think if you didn't know all that, maybe it'd be a good idea for us to go over something interesting that happened. Okay? This is... well, take a look at it yourself. Congresswoman Mary Nguyen says our neighbor, Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, tried to block the Equality Act. Sorry, had to sneeze. Tried to block the Equality Act because she believes prohibiting discrimination against trans Americans is disgusting, immoral, and evil. Thought we'd put up our transgender flag so she can look at it every time she opens her door. Like, look at that. Look at that. Just, fuck you, transphobe. Now, I like that. That's a nice power move. That's a really nice power move. I like it. So, what does Marjorie do?
Our neighbor, Representative Mary Nguyen, wants to pass the so-called Equality Act to destroy women's rights and religious freedoms.
And if you're one of those people who's going to comment that you don't like the fact that I'm making an idiot sound like a fucking idiot, well, you know my opinion already.
Thought we'd put up ours so she can look at it every time she opens her door.
Well, so what does she put up? There are two genders. Trust the science. So, I guess we're ignoring sociology. And oh, by the way, something neat happened. So, currently, Marjorie Taylor Greene is trending. There was also science trending earlier. Ha! Here it is! On politics trending. After Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene placed an anti-trans sign outside of her office in response to the transgender pride flag, many are pointing out that science widely understands that there's a breadth of genetic chromosomal variations besides XX and XY. You know, like XXY, various forms of intersex, there's Klinefelters, there's a lot of stuff there. Oh, but that's just accepting the fact that we already know that Marjorie is going to be confusing, C, misunderstanding, C, being a moron, the difference between sex and gender. See, transgender flag versus Marjorie saying that there are two genders, but then clearly arguing for science. She's clearly trying to stick in the biological categories of things. That's a nice, convenient place to be. Ignoring that we have a bimodal spectrum there as well. Just imagine the type of person you have to be to hear, probably every day, what gender is versus what sex is. Misunderstand it, and then try to put a thing in front of your office where you're basically just being a transphobe. Imagine being a non-binary person in District 14 of Georgia, and this is the person who's supposed to represent you in the House of Representatives in the United States. This is the person who holds an office up there. And she's supposed to be fighting for your rights, your, well, everything. Just imagine what it's like to deal with that every day. To know that you're dealing with a bigot who's willing to just, when somebody puts up a trans pride flag, is willing to respond in the way that she did. This is one of those things where, like, if you merely have the opinion that, hey, there are two biological sexes because you're assuming it's from gametes, I don't necessarily know if you're a bigot. I just know that you've got an opinion and whatever. But when you do that in response to somebody, you know, championing the existence of a minority group, now I know you're being a bigot. Now I know you're being an asshole. Now I know that you... it's like with the what was it that happened? The white pride thing, when there were people who were going, what's wrong with saying white pride? What's wrong with saying straight pride? When you had to respond, you know, most of this is happening in response to black power or gay pride. So you have to wonder what's happening when the minority group is saying we're proud of who we are, and you feel like such a victim that you have to do the exact same thing when you're the oppressor here. Marjorie, if you see this video, I know you won't, because you ride up on a high horse until we elect you out. But if you see this, just know you're a disgusting human being. I do not like your guts. I think you are a terrible person. You're the type of person who harasses somebody after a school shooting. You're the type of person who, when a minority group explains that their rights are being tread upon, you celebrate taking away their rights. Marjorie, you're a piece of human filth. And I don't care if there's one person in my chat or my audience or my viewership who's going to say, no, Suris, you're being hyperbolic. No, you're being mean. You're not supposed to be mean. You're supposed to be analytical. I don't give a shit. If it's human rights we're talking about, I will be as mean as I want to. And that's all I gotta say about that. Insert end of video tagline here.